Hello and welcome to the Team Meta College Conference Spring Showdown. Orange corner as red. Oh my goodness, watching it as it
being like a void space for community building.
Now you can see these freshmen and sophomores that have not had that interaction at all, completely online because of COVID.
He said, "Go! Oh my gosh, Osaka!"
Nothing like waking up to a nice cup of coffee and talking about esports. I'm your host, Jay Skirts. Welcome back to Age of Coronavirus College Edition. And with us today, we have Jackie Lamb, who's the head coach for the Mavericks Esports at Minnesota State University. Join us also are players from Mavericks Esports, Tristan Zell, Noah Mickey, and Simon Restad. How you doing today, fellas?
Doing good. Excited to be here.
Pretty good.
Well, thanks for joining us. And tell us, Jackie, how the team is doing this season.
Really good. We've had several teams that have made playoffs. We have League of Legends, Rocket League, Madden, and CSGO. And right now, Madden and Rocket League are finishing up their seasons with NACE and Play VS. And yeah, so far, I think it's been going great.
Wonderful. Now does your team, your students here, do they play different games?
Yeah. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves a little bit more and what games you play?
Yeah, I am the captain for the League of Legends team, where I play jungle and ADC.
And I'm the captain of the CSGO team, and I'm mainly a rifler.
I just played for the Rocket League team at MSU.
And how is it all going for you guys? Have you learned a lot this season that you hadn't before in these games?
I know I have personally. It's been a weird year to play for a team, just because of all the things that happen where sometimes you can't be at the facility because someone has to deal with some COVID stuff. So I definitely learned how to be flexible more than I've ever had to for a team. So that's something I can use for future years too.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Being flexible has been one of the biggest assets, that we can ask for our players to have, with the circumstances we're in. It's been kind of tough, just, getting everything organized and getting people together is just a challenge in and of itself. So, I think moving forward, it'll be a lot easier and we'll be able to do a lot more cool things. So we're excited.
For me, this is the first semester that I've ever participated in any kind of esports organization, especially like at the collegiate level. And for me, it's just been kind of a learning experience to kind of collaborate and like just learn to play together as a team and get chemistry, mainly online too, because a lot of where I'm playing the games come from online with that limited access to things like our facility and stuff, especially with COVID and the pandemic happening. We've had limited access to stuff like that. So it's been kind of interesting in that sense.
Do you all feel that that this may have strengthened certain parts of you by going through these hardships? That once everything gets back to normal, you're probably better players?
Yeah, I think in some sense, because of that flexibility and having to work 10 times harder just to get everything going and to get to where we want to get, it definitely helps build that commitment, along with just being able to handle more than you thought you could handle, which you can carry on to future years when you hopefully don't have to deal with this in the future as much.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, just because of the hardships we've been through and, all the challenges we faced, it's definitely going to be a breath of fresh air once we have the freedom that we've been lacking. So there's things that we've been wanting to do that we literally cannot. We can't go to LANs. And like you said, it's kind of hard to get everyone in the facility at the same time. We can only have a certain number of people at the facility at a certain time. So, we can't have overlapping practice. So.
Yeah, I think that was the hardest part, is trying to schedule. So we have a smaller facility. We have 16 machines. We can only have 7 people in there. So trying to schedule a match and practice at the same time, we had to figure out who to prioritize. And it had to be a match day game instead of a practice, so students had to either practice from home or reschedule. So while COVID did help expand because we were able to play from home, we had this nice facility that students just didn't get to utilize as much as we were hoping for.
Well, hopefully that changes here soon because things seem to be looking up.
Yeah.
Well, tell us, Jackie, how you got into coaching.
I helped advise MSU and a couple other colleges create the program for esports in high school and collegiate level. And at the beginning, there was two large groups, League of Legends and CSGO, that advocated for starting an esports program. And along the way, while I was advising, I got hired and started building the program. This is our first year. We are very excited for it, for our inaugural season. And we've already expanded into 10 titles for fall and are looking at around 70 varsity players for fall.
Very cool. Now, I just want to make sure. So you're the head coach for all of the games in esports, is that right?
Yeah, so I'm acting more as a director. So the word
Okay.
head coach is just different for every university. I will be coaching some of the teams in the fall, but right now I currently don't coach any of them. We have separate coaches for our teams, or we hire out coaches.
Had you been familiar with the games beforehand, or is it something that you had to pick up along the way?
I knew most of the games. Rocket League was a little different for me, and I've never watched a Madden game until now.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about Rocket League?
It's a very fun game to watch, but really hard. I tried playing it, and I always had to have my players walk me through the beginning startup when it doesn't go, because 5 minutes is a long time when you're on a keyboard.
Another question for all the players here. What is the one thing that you want to work on in the coming weeks and months as you're playing your esport? What is that one challenge that you'd like to figure out?
I'd probably say just building team chemistry. It's something that was hard to do this year just because you don't get those in-person kind of times with your teammates, and a lot of just happening over online, so you don't really get to build those connections, since it's hard to do that through online and through a computer. So hopefully doing that and build on team chemistry so that we can come into next year a lot stronger and work better together as a group is be my goal.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, there were times when after a match, a couple of my teammates would be like, "Hey, you want to go get food?" And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that right now, but maybe later. So that'd be cool, just to be able to socialize outside of practice, or even just, just get dinner after a match, after a good win or something. That'd be nice to do. And yeah, I think going into this new season, we're kind of rebuilding our roster, at least for the CSGO team. So we're looking to see what our university has to offer in terms of its players that maybe we didn't know about until now. So that'd be cool to see what kind of potential our players are hiding from us.
Yeah, and for me too, I would say building team chemistry is a big thing for myself personally too, because up until this point, playing Rocket League, I've always kind of either played by myself or played with like other people that I talk to online or on Discord, but I've never actually had like an official team that I've associated with or like practiced with on a weekly basis where we like go over our replays and stuff like that. And now that we're playing at a collegiate level, we're running into some teams that are a lot more experienced than teams we played in the past. So I think it's just that much more important to kind of build that chemistry so that we can play better together.
What was the thing that you were surprised to find out about yourself, how good you were in your esport?
I would just say flexibility. Before coming in this season, I was a one-dimensional tank player in jungle, that's for sure. And my coach really challenged me to play more of carries in jungle. So being able to just adapt my playstyle to play a whole new playstyle that I've never played before surprised me that I could do it and do it at the level I was doing. So that's probably the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, coming into our first season as a team, we kind of had a rocky start. Two of our main players unfortunately weren't able to play for the full season with us, so we kind of had to scramble and get our two substitutes ready to fill those roles. And I mean, I was kind of surprised that they were able to pick it up so fast, and you know, they dedicated as much as they could, and they put their heart and soul into it. And you know, we can only expect so much from players who had never been on a team before to come and step up, but they definitely did as best as they could, and I was really happy to see that. So
for me, and for like a game like Rocket League, one thing that kind of happens for every player, the process that every player goes through is just the like kind of the progression phase is what I like to call it. So like there aren't really like people that are just kind of like naturally talented. Everybody kind of starts at the same point, and then you progress from there on. And then that's the thing I like the best about the game, is because it's just it kind of like it shows that like your hard work pays off. Like the more you play the game, the more you get to compete at a higher level, or like play against better players and stuff like that. So I would just say like the progression is what I love the most about that game.
And I want to extend this question to Jackie as well. What is that one thing that you've learned?
I've learned so much. There's so many leagues that are popping up right now, and just trying to figure out all the rules. You know, you come in and you research as much as you want, but until you can actually practice it, you just don't understand how hard the job is and how much you're trying to get your players' scrims set up or their matches, or making sure that the rules are correct. Is it a best of 3, a best of 5? So just trying to learn everything in each different league. It's not just one general league like the NACC. We're in 7 different leagues right now that trying to figure out times and games and everything. So it's been a struggle, but at the same time, it's been really rewarding.
Yeah, are you getting enough help at Minnesota State University?
I will be. We didn't realize our program was going to grow this fast. So we are looking to hire about 4 to 7 student workers for the fall. And so we're bringing back student workers that can work on the backside and not just the players. So we'll be getting a lot more help.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of directors and coaches who, in some colleges, who say that it's a struggle sometimes because they're doing a lot of things, and but I think that's encouraging to know that the colleges are starting to recognize that that esports is growing and becoming really big, and they need all the help they can get. Where do you see esports going in the next 5 years?
I think that's a really hard question. Esports grows within a matter of 1 year. 5 years is just so long. Even 3 years. I'm hoping to have more leagues available and more universities. We're hoping to get into our own Midwestern conference. One of the bigger struggles is Minnesota is considered a West conference right now. I don't know why. So we have servers that are better on the East. And so that's been a struggle, but I'm hoping to have like a central Midwest conference. But I think it's just going to keep growing. More colleges are going to see that esports is a athletic department, that their students can actually participate and play video games and learn everything that traditional athletes can do at the same time.
Now, is Minnesota State University considering virtual reality esports?
There aren't too many VR leagues right now, but it's nothing that we wouldn't not consider if there was potential for it.
And for the players here, do you expect yourself to go pro? Are you? Is that something that you want to do?
At least for me, it's something I want to do. I'm realistic of, I'm older. I'm a grad student, so age-wise, if I get to that level where I'm good enough to be pro, I don't think many teams will go after someone who's going to be 26 when I graduate here. Just because younger players are usually the ones that get picked up in League of Legends. But it's something I definitely want to do if I can get to that level. It's something I would love to do for a year or two and get to live my dream out there, and then move on to whatever I want to do next in my life. Yeah,
if the opportunity arises, I would definitely take it. I don't know if I want to do it for the rest of my life. I think that would that would be a little much, but yeah, that's definitely something that's been a dream of mine ever since I started playing Counter-Strike. I've always wanted to be a pro. I've been to a couple of, like DreamHack events, and I've seen the pros play live, and it's a crazy feeling. I want to be on the other side of that and sit at the table staring back at the fans. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, kind of similar to what Tristan said. Same for me too. Ever since I started playing Rocket League and just putting in hours into that game, I've woken up every day, and I've never not had a day where I didn't want to play the game, even though I have things like schoolwork or work in my personal life that I have to do that kind of gets in the way of me playing. But I've still kind of wanted to go pro ever since then. So yeah, kind of like Tristan was saying, I used to watch LAN events and stuff like that, and kind of just pictured myself being on that stage, and I've always it's always been a dream of mine to compete at the highest level.
Well, isn't it exciting that we can use our imaginations to get us places?
Exactly.
Yes.
Are you surprised about that, or the more you do it, the more comfortable you get into that mode?
Yeah, I think it's kind of just like a manifestation. The more you envision yourself being in that position, the more realistic it becomes. I
think it also drives you. It makes you more committed than anything else. Just trying to make that realistic, in a sense, or make it happen.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. For me personally, I've just kind of like that's been the one thing that's continued to drive me as a player, is just kind of having that in the back of my mind. And I think that's a big part of why I haven't quit playing the game too. I still play it almost on a daily basis, and I've been playing it for over 2 years. And I feel like that's just a big part of what drives me every day to continue playing that game, is because of that vision.
I won't ever go pro, but I do have my dream job. I love it every day, and I can honestly say that I wake up and I'm excited to work. Not a lot of people can say that they love what they do for a living, and
that's true.
I am very excited to see where our program is going and to see all the new students and the new teams that we're building.
Had you imagined yourself, Jackie, becoming a head coach?
No.
Or is this a very surprising thing?
Yes and no. I made a dream board for one of my classes, and in the background it was an esports, just like the main stage, and it would have been something that I wanted to pursue, and then the opportunity came, and I couldn't believe it. It was an exciting part of my life.
What is the one thing that you would change about the current state of esports to make it more palatable?
I would change probably the eligibility. There's some leagues that you have a dual enrollment student and they're not allowed to play, and that's unfortunate, even though they're considered full-time. That's one of the biggest things that I would change. And the level at C that the College League of Legends allows into their playoffs, I would change that also. Okay,
one final question before we go. This is for everybody. Favorite video game of all time, and this will go back to childhood.
I can start because I know this one. It's gonna be one of the first games I played. Is Zombies Ate My Neighbors on the Super Nintendo. It's one of the hardest games I've ever played.
Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Still barely able to beat it, but that game is just, you can play hours and hours with that game, especially if you have all the cheat codes.
I'd probably say Dynasty Warriors. One of the classic ones on PlayStation 2, because I used to play it all the time, and when the game of the disc got to the point where I couldn't use it anymore, I was so upset, because that was just one of my favorite games, and it's hard to find that game on a PS2 nowadays.
I feel like if I said Counter-Strike, that'd be kind of a cop-out, so I'm going to say iNinja for the PS2, because that's one of the games I played as a kid, and it's a hidden gem, so look it up if you don't know what iNinja is.
For me, aside from Rocket League, favorite game of all time would have probably had to be the classic Mario Kart game for the GameCube. And the reason for that is because that was a game that I grew up playing. GameCube was the first console I ever played, and I got to play it with my brother and my dad, and I think the Mario Kart game was the only game that would ever get my dad to play it with me and my brother, so that's kind of just big part of why I like that game, enjoy it so much.
it's nice when we can share those little things with our close loved ones, because it's almost like a secret that they're not supposed to be wanting to play something like this at their age, but they do it with us, and it's always a good time. But with that, we're running out of time, and thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you very
having
much.
us.